Is this thing on? Okay, so it's been a little while since I've done one of these. Only 456 days. To put that in perspective, at the time of uploading the Astrobot review, the newest chapter of Deltarune was chapter 2. No tenor, no night, damn. No prophecy, no nothing. To be fair, at the end of that review, I did say that the online Twitch highlights and the offline clips from my hard drive videos were going to be placed on a higher priority due to the sheer backlog of clips and streams I needed to edit together, taking up all the space in my hard drive, and yeah, that's still true, so it's probably going to be a while until the next one. But speaking of the last review, I did promise what game this review was going to be for. And I didn't promise how long it was going to take, so without further ado, good
morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, cause the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Netrunners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teams scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our City of Dreams.
I think current Cyberpunk has one of the most alive settings for a video game I've ever seen. It has the interactivity of Kamurocho from Yakuza, but on a much larger scale, and the dense hustle and bustle of Los Santos from GTA 5, if you got rid of the 90 or so % of the map that was just empty space. Cyberpunk does a great job of chucking you into the deep end of this labyrinthian world. A world that would continue with or without you, and let your actions dictate the legacy you leave behind. I mean, it's just a simple heist, what could possibly happen? Well, this story is divided perfectly into 3 acts. 1. The mission. 2. The consequences. And 3. Meet Hanako at Embers, with the bulk of the game being in Act 2. However, there is something special about the opening act and the characters within that you only really meet very briefly, haunting the narratives going forwards. The city may move on, but as long as you keep going, you'll remember them. I don't think there's any point listing the other characters from the main part of the game, because there's literally hundreds of them. How many you meet is completely up to you, and how deep into their stories you wish to get is also up to you. There's over 100 side missions and events and romanceable options for people who want to feel like Jamal-kun behind the screen, and it's all very immersive, if not slightly overwhelming. But I ended up really liking V as a character. I thought his voice actor did a great job, and that the hate for that was far overblown. Although, that might be just because the female V's voice acting is really that much better. Johnny Silverhand is fantastic, starting off abrasive towards V and the situation in general, but as the game progresses, the bond between V and Johnny starts to develop and becomes the key central driving force behind the entire game, and is an absolute slow burn masterclass. Without it, this game would be a soulless husk of itself. Johnny and his development is Cyberpunk 2077. Speaking of soulless husks, Chris and the Soul could really learn a couple of things from these two. Hashtag the Soul turns cyan in chapter 7, hashtag Rudy is the Knight, and hashtag Susie is Gaster. Like your mum's legs, the world is open. Like your dodgy cousin, the gunplay is on crack. Like your nan, I've fallen down the stairs. The expansive skill tree integrates really well with the variety of weaponry you can find to create this naturally flowing combat that completely adapts to whatever playstyle you want. You can run a tanky brawler build by investing in the body tree and tearing people to shreds with the mantis claws.
To shreds, you say?
You can run a Jin Sakai build by investing in this part of the reflexes tree that focuses on blades. Find one of the many cool swords in this game and slice people to shreds.
To shreds, you say?
I ran the cool tree as it helps with throwable knives, which were cool, but mainly pistols and snipers, which feel super good in this game. The proper way to judge a game's gunplay is to see how much the revolver has. RE9 recently nailed this, and in Cyberpunk, the revolvers start off with a lot of then you fully deck out the cool tree and it's like high fucking noon in this bitch. Yeah, it's pretty good. Hell, if you want to run a hacker build where you can force enemies to kill themselves, hey, knock yourself out, you sick fuck. The customization is endless, and it's completely up to you. But get air dash though, that one's mandatory. It is goated. But there's plenty of skill points available as you level up to mix and match, enough to fully level a couple of these skill trees, so you don't have to corner yourself into one playstyle either. More points to spend on air dash. But there's plenty that this world has to offer as well. Outside of the main story and character quests, there's just random shit going on everywhere. It really does feel like the average day trip out to Bradford. You drive around the corner and a car is on fire under a bridge, a gang war then breaks out, you don't even have to take part in, you can just watch it or drive away. You have odd gigs, jobs and bounties you can take, my favourite being the cyber psychos that crop up now and then. They're basically boss fights against crackheads that are dotted around Night City, so yeah, like I said earlier, day trip to Bradford. There's also plenty of vehicles to get from place to place, and most of them are pretty fucking cool. However, the handling in this game is weird, man. Some cars feel super heavy, and some feel super slippery, like those videos I used to get on my TikTok feed of this Wasabi Gang guy rolling stuff over ice. That was pretty cool. Did anyone else used to get those? Point is, it definitely takes some getting used to, and probably controls better on controller, but don't quote me on that. I played on mouse and keyboard, like God intends for any game you shoot a gun in. The customization is pretty sick overall, especially since they added more options for pretty much everything since update 2.3. Just after I finished my playthrough, yeah, cheers for that. It's always nice when a game gives you enough clothing options that you can go for something cool and serious, or just make the most fucked up looking creature possible. Here's my character, Jiryu Jazuma, from my playthrough, rocking the full yellow fit, including David's jacket from Edgerunners. Very nice, very nice. Even though I got around to Cyberpunk quite late, and I wasn't playing on the base PS4 version of the game, still managed to capture my fair share of glitches along the way. Although, the weird thing is that somehow the glitches in this game can be oddly charming? I guess it's because I never got soft locked, or my game never crashed or anything serious, so that seeing these glitches unfold in real time can be very funny to watch. I wouldn't really call it a glitch, but another funny thing to watch is the AI driving paths, just absolute chaos. I guess you can treat it like in-game diegetic cyberpsychosis. Like these glitches are your character tweaking out in real time. Overall, it definitely feels a bit overwhelming for the first couple of times you play, with all those icons for all the different things I just mentioned in this segment. However, that slowly fades as well, and what you're left with is this deeply expansive and freeing gameplay loop. There's so much going on in this game that sometimes you forget to stop and take it all in. And you should, because the atmosphere is insane. It initially feels like one of the biggest advances in photorealism graphically. I say initially because when you boot the game for the first time, it runs at 40 FPS. But hey, turn off all the graphic slop that people pretend to like motion blur and ray tracing, and the game still looks and runs great. Thankfully, Cyberpunk was built using the Red engine, so this level of realism doesn't fall victim to the Unreal Engine hive mind of games that look and feel the same, where everything has washed out colours and everything looks wet for some reason. It does share some of the FPS issues, however. It's always nice to appreciate games that aren't built off of base Unreal. The best examples currently being the Deku engine, for all the faults that Death Stranding and the Horizon series have. Each game's performance and the way that their gameplay flows together are definitely not some of them. But back to Cyberpunk, the aesthetic is really what sets it apart. I mean, the entire aesthetic genre is called Cyberpunk, so of course this game would be a pretty good representation of it. The futuristic neon signs that glow in the night, and the city's dense landscape and the Asian cultural influences mixed together to create this busy, overlapping metropolis. There's so many layers and complexities to the layout of the city that everything overlaps in a way that's almost chaotic. A perfect encompassment of Night City and all the clashing people, cultures, inequalities and lifestyles. Although, I think it was in a video bug or something, but parts of this game in my playthrough on PC were like really dark. Like visibly really dark. Like sometimes there was no light sources in game and I couldn't find my way around. I have seen some other people have the same issue, but I don't think that's the case for the majority. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Thankfully it only affected a small percentage of my playthrough, but man, was that percentage hard to see. Other than that, some of the character models can look a bit off, and there can be some real bad pop-in issues occasionally, but that's about it. Nothing enough to distract from the beauty of it all, in my opinion. On the other hand, if you're one of those freaks that like to crank up all the settings to max to compare PC builds or monitors for a tech YouTube channel or something, then go ahead. All 10 of those frames per second will look absolutely stunning. So this is a unique situation, as this was the 4th ever game selected by the Wheel TM. Therefore, I played this on stream with copyrighted music turned off. But then, I don't think I even missed out on much, to be honest. Having the original music just made me feel more immersed. Hearing a Lizzy Wizzy song whilst driving through the city at night, or even just around the outskirts, is very, very relaxing. Until Pon Pon shit autoplays.
Yeah, I'm ashamed.
I'm going fucking mental! The fact that without the copyrighted music, some of the radio stations only have like 5 songs would usually take me a bit out of it, but then I remember that BBC Radio 1 and 2 play the same 5 songs all day, so it's probably quite accurate if anything. The OST encapsulates the vibe of this game perfectly in all aspects. It's techno, it's gritty, it's robotic, but it's human. It can be relaxing, it can be energizing, it's pure cyberpunk. The game definitely excels in integrating its music within the world itself, be that through the aforementioned radio, music's playing in shops, or the overworld during concerts and performances, one performance of which I'll talk about later. So, Cyberpunk is a choose-your-own adventure game. The way the narrative warps to the choices made by the player flows very naturally, but all roads lead to Rome and the outcome is inevitable. So it's what road you take in challenging your fate, which makes the story feel so special. What would you do if your time was running out? Would you live the quiet life or die in a blaze of glory? Oh my god, that was the thing he said at the start of the game, I get it now. And despite a slower start in my playthrough, once everything clicks, it clicks together very well. A couple of issues here or there, but nothing crazy, and a couple of glitches that were so funny they added onto the score if anything. That score being a 4 out of 5. Thank you for watching. Hopefully in the future, once I'm way more up to date with Twitch and the offline clip stuff, I can start doing these a bit more frequently, and a bit more reactively to games that are actually new. Not that there's anything stopping me from doing that anyway. For now, Cyberpunk is a great game. I say I'd recommend it, but chances are you've already played it, so you'd agree that it's like a perfect 4 out of 5 game. Yep, 8 out of 10. Nothing wrong with that. Perfectly good score, nothing that could lower it or raise it. Yep. Psych!
Wires and chains, starting to fade. It feels like a game you have to play.
Ooh, this is one of those expansions that feel like an entirely new game. I mean, hell, it's long enough to be one. A new part of the city to explore, the best written characters in the game, and a storyline that weaves the fate of all of these characters together through themes of control versus freedom. 4 key players. Who will you trust? Will you play along, or will you get played? It all unfolds like a Bond film. Fuck, even the credits song is one of the greatest Bond themes I've ever heard. So it's fitting that one of the first people you meet is Solomon Reed, played by Idris Elba, the most obvious candidate to play James Bond if they locked the fuck in. I wrote that a year ago, and it's still relevant now. Every mission seamlessly strings together, all stemming from the explosive theatrical set piece of meeting the president right at the start. My favourite mission of the entire game being You Know My Name was a whole ass spy thriller in itself, infiltrating a skyscraper hotel through flooded tunnels, using disguises, that dope-ass sniper segment picking off enemies whilst watching Solomon Reed progress through the level, reaching the party at the top of the building full of celebrities, playing roulette with the enemy like it's fucking Casino Royale, all culminating in this ethereal performance from Wizzy. Oh yeah, that was the performance I said I was going to mention earlier. It's now. Now is late as now. Phantom Liberty improves on literally every aspect of Cyberpunk. More compelling characters, a more complex and interwoven story, and tighter gameplay. On its own, it easily gets a 5, however, as it's a DLC and kind of part of the overall game, we'll split the difference, and the final overall score for Cyberpunk 2077 is a 4.5 out of 5. And thank you for watching. Again, I'm not going to tease the next review here, because that means I'd actually have to do it. Bye-bye!
Thank you.